Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts to manage your team, you still face performance issues, high turnover, low morale, and problems getting your employees connected to your culture? These issues might be rooted in the difference between managing and leading. While the words are often used interchangeably, they are definitely not the same. And the implications of each are massive. Did you know that globally 77% of employees are disengaged? But in best practice organizations, that number drops to 30%. That's nearly a 50% improvement in employee engagement by turning your managers into leaders. Imagine the difference this could make for your team. Ready to learn more? Let's go. In my previous video, linked below, I described the difference between leadership and management using a mouse and a maze analogy. If you haven't seen that, I suggest you give it a watch. In this video, we're going to build on that understanding to explore the ways that these two styles of leading others changes everything about the outcomes you'll get from your teams, and ultimately the kind of culture you contribute to at your company. Here are some AI-generated people to help us put a face to each style. Laura is a visionary leader who believes in empowering her team. She works for Labelcraft Studios, a company that designs product labeling and packaging. Matt is our results-driven manager who believes in controlling every detail about the work the teams are doing. He works for a rival design firm, Innomark Design. Laura and Matt's companies are each bidding for the business of a local brewery to design a new beer bottle label, and they each have a team of 6 designers. Laura hires slow and fires fast. And what I mean by that is that she's very careful to bring in people who get along with her team, but she's really quick to get rid of them if she finds out they don't. She works with each individually to make sure they're able to work on the aspects of the work they find the most challenging and interesting. She knows each member of her team is competent, and her team feels that way about each other as well. Laura's team is a tight-knit group that has been working together for several years. Matt sees his team members as completely replaceable and interchangeable. He moves them around like pieces on a chessboard between projects and other teams. Matt used to be a star designer, which is how he got promoted to his current role. So he believes he knows more than his team about design. Now, people don't stay too long on Matt's team, so they always seem to be in the process of onboarding someone new, and the team members don't know much about each other. Let's see how their contrasting approaches play out in a real-world scenario. When the brewery bid request comes in, Laura introduces the customer's project to the team and tells them what success looks like. Laura is careful not to give too many guardrails, as she knows this stifles creativity. Because her team has worked together for so long, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they feel safe to criticize each other's ideas because the team is trying to get it right, not be right. The timeline for the bid is very tight, but Laura assures the team that she's confident they can come up with a winning idea in the time they have. Matt introduces the project to the team with a sketch of what he thinks the team should do. He tells the team that he welcomes their feedback, but they've learned that this isn't true. Several times, Matt has gotten angry or sarcastic when anyone criticized his ideas, so no one feels safe to really speak up. Matt tells everyone that they will get a bonus if they get the contract. He believes that the bonus will incentivize the team to work harder. What he doesn't need to say is that he will be very upset if they don't get the contract. Matt's temper is legendary at the company. He tells the team that because the timeline is so tight, he's expecting everyone to work overtime to get it done. The team feels the immense pressure, and it's difficult for them not to take that stress home to their families each night. Laura's team gets to work, immediately brainstorming ideas. The fact that Laura, who's also an accomplished designer, gives the team a blank slate to start with creates an opportunity for each team member to introduce ideas in directions that she would have never thought of herself. Her team uses a special form of brainstorming where each person brainstorms on their own first, and then they all put their brainstorms up together among everyone else's, so the best ideas from each person can meld together into something no individual on the team could have come up with on their own. The result is a brilliant idea that ties the brewery's other labels into the new design while still clearly communicating a completely new beer. Laura did have a couple concerns about the new design, but rather than voice them as direction, she turned them into powerful questions, like, how will you address the alcohol warning on the label? Which prompted her team to say, oh yeah, we forgot about that. And then they modified the design. Matt's team has been basically iterating on Matt's idea. A couple of Matt's team members are brilliant designers, but Matt never seems to notice, and they feel like a set of hands for Matt's brain. They're each looking for new jobs. Matt's design is tried and true, safe, but it's not innovative. And when members of his team dare to suggest changes, he shoots them down, as expected. Eventually, the team stops offering suggestions, which Matt misinterprets as agreement, and announces to the team that they will be submitting that design. The team is just happy to have their weekends back. Now, the brewery chooses Laura's team's design very quickly. This win wasn't just about creativity, it was a product of trust, autonomy, and mutual respect. When Matt gets the news that his company's idea wasn't chosen, he becomes unglued. He sees the winning label and asks his team, why didn't you guys think of something like this? The team is always astounded at Matt's ability to separate himself from failure while taking all the credit for the increasingly uncommon wins. Matt's star designers decide to put in applications at Laura's company. Now, this example was fictional, but was it? I mean, have you ever worked for a Matt? Have you ever had the good fortune of working for a Laura? If either is true, I'm certain you'll relate to this summary, which I will display as a pyramid because each lower level contributes to the level above it. Laura trusts her employees in two ways: predictability and competency. She knows her employees, and because she hires carefully, she knows they are all very good at their jobs. She sees leadership as a responsibility. Matt, on the other hand, has trust in two things: himself and the sticks and carrots he uses to move his teams towards the goals he sets. Because he believes he was promoted because he's the expert, he sees leadership as a reward. Because Laura trusts her employees, she gives her team autonomy to solve problems. That autonomy really keeps her star players wanting to be on her team. Everyone feels like a needed brain on the team and a set of talented hands. Matt micromanages his team. He believes that if he didn't do this, the teams would flounder. This both frustrates him and makes him feel important. It reinforces his belief that he's better at this work, but it also makes him upset when he can't be in all places all the time and has to correct the team frequently when they go astray from his vision. The team quickly realizes they're just acting as Matt's hands, so they turn their own brains off, which makes Matt believe he needs to micromanage more, which makes them turn their brains off even more in a vicious cycle. Laura's mantra about getting it right versus being right means that it's completely safe to criticize ideas without criticizing the people who had the ideas. No one feels attacked. It just feels like a group effort to get it perfect. All will share in the glory of a win, so there's no need to be the hero or the heroine on Laura's team. Individuals on Matt's team feel criticized or shamed for trying or suggesting new ideas, so they learn to just do the minimum needed to not stand out. Because Laura's team is listened to, engagement is high. When challenges arise, team members are at the table trying to solve problems, and because Laura listens and respects her team members, they stay engaged. Laura knows she plays an important role in keeping her teams engaged. Matt's team knows that it's hazardous to disagree with Matt or to suggest improvements, so the meetings are quiet and the team is very disengaged. Everyone knows Matt doesn't mean it when he asks for, quote, honest feedback. And so they say nothing, which Matt misinterprets to mean that there is no feedback. Trust, autonomy, safety, and engagement are the fertile soil that builds the high morale on Laura's team. Because these are all shaky or missing on Matt's team, the team members are very unhappy. Most of them have their eyes open for other jobs, which is why Matt's team has such high turnover, something he dismisses as generational and out of his control. Because Laura respects her employees, they respect her back. They know she's a brilliant designer herself, so they leverage her mentorship to be better. They don't just learn to be better designers, they're also learning what good leadership looks like. When Matt has feedback, it always seems to sound like direction and is usually about making Matt feel better about himself rather than trying to make the employee better at his or her job. Matt's motive is lost on no one. By accomplishing the levels of the pyramid up to this point, Laura has built a team that has two kinds of freedom that each lead to innovation. The first is freedom from. Her team members are freed from the constraints and personal criticism. The second is freedom to. They're all free to think outside the box, free to suggest ideas that might sound wacky at first, but could end up being or triggering the winning idea. On Matt's team, no one sticks their neck out too far because they fear for his temper or for the punishment of getting it wrong. This kills the creativity needed to truly innovate before it can ever make it out of someone's mind into the conversation because people are just playing it safe. Because Laura trusts and respects her team and sees leadership as a responsibility, she communicates with them about ways to improve the team and their process. If tough calls need to be made, she makes them with the team rather than for the team. This only further reinforces the trust between her and her team. When things need to change on Matt's team, he announces those changes to the team after he's made the decision alone. The team isn't consulted to solve problems, they're just communicated to after the fact. Because Laura's team is a tight-knit group, they want to work together to solve problems. Laura never commits the team to something that she knows isn't possible. By protecting her teams from unreasonable commitments, she creates a healthy form of stress for the team called challenge stress. Challenge stress creates a "we can do this" response from the team. Matt's love affair with sticks and carrots means he's a one-trick pony when it comes to stressful situations. He drops a date on the calendar, tells the team they need to get it done by then or else, and then walks out. This creates a very unhealthy form of stress called impossible stress. That kind of stress makes a team into a group of individuals, each not willing to trust the other to avoid the negative outcome. Impossible stress is more likely to create a "get out of my way, I'll do it" response. Because Laura and her peers at Labelcraft Studios all work to ensure that the pyramid is respected, they collectively create a warm, rewarding, healthy culture that centers on mutual success for the company and the employees alike. Employees want to be part of building and maintaining that culture. They see the company's leaders walking the talk, and it matters. Matt's company, InnoMark Designs, on the other hand, is all numbers. The most often used word at the company is drive. Drive employees to drive results. Employees walk past the company values on the wall every day, including one about employees being the most valuable asset the company has, but they know experientially through managers like Matt that those values are meaningless. While Laura's team thrives on trust and autonomy, Matt's team struggles under the weight of control and fear. Between Laura's and Matt's approach, which sounds more familiar to you? I hope you know more Laura's than Matt's, but let me know in the comments below. Now, you might be wondering, does Matt know that he's the cause of this poor performance? Probably not. Both Matt and Laura each believe they're right. Each have adopted a style of leadership based on their beliefs about people and work. The way they treat employees is a direct extension of those beliefs, and their behaviors feel right for both of them. But only Laura's behavior is actually serving her team and her company. Matt's intentions are good. He wants the team to succeed, but his mindset and motive are holding them back and costing the company money. So remember, this isn't about whether you feel right or not. You probably do. It's about whether you're getting the outcomes you want. Because if you're not, you might want to try examining the beliefs you have that are making you feel right in spite of your results. Now, as we wrap up, think about your own leadership style. Are you managing or are you leading? If you're tired of seeing your team's potential go unrealized, it's time to shift from managing to leading, and I can help you with that journey. Reach out to me at Sean@motivatedOutcomes.com for a free consultation, including an assessment of your employee engagement. The email is in the description below. Don't let your team's potential slip through the cracks. Let's turn your managers into leaders. Remember, in the maze of leadership, the path you choose isn't just about your success, it's about the success of your entire team. So which path will you choose?